There's a lot of you, wow. All right. So my name is Andy Lapteff. I'm a network engineer turned product marketer for Nokia Data Center. I'm thrilled to be here, so thank you. Yes, I'm going to give you the human side of automation. NAF exists, I believe, to drive network automation adoption. I have been publicly and very personally anti-network automation for most of my network engineering career. I believe that that cultural thing in network engineering is something we have to get through, right? We need to bring them, like this conference is amazing and everyone's here sharing their wins, but I don't know if us coming here is going to bring the majority of network engineers to us. So I'm going to tell you a story about a change that I experienced in my life, which brought me from a CLI lifer, or what Scott would call a trad net ops person, someone who was not into this stuff, to someone who's very passionate about it, sees the value, and is really enjoying, his time here. So let's get started. What can you see? All right. All right, so about 14 months ago, last fall, I'm driving in my car, helping my wife out. I'm going grocery shopping. Up until recently, we were crushing it. She works in tech. I've had a great career in tech, and life was great. I'm on this car ride, and I've been unemployed for about a year. I got laid off. And the longer that unemployment lasts, the louder this voice in my head gets. This voice is saying things like, why can't I find a job? What's taking so long? You're failing. You're a failure. Maybe your family would be better off without you. That last thought scared the hell out of me. And it's that thought that changed everything for me. And I just want to reiterate, I think that's what we're up against. The rest of this presentation is going to be what it took for me to embrace network automation. I had to get to a very dark place to change the way I thought. And that's what we're going to get into here is how our brains work, little cognitive bias work that my friend Mike Bouchon taught me. And if we don't address the biases of network engineers who are anti-network automation, I don't think we can really move the needle. So that thought was a lightning bolt to me. It scared the hell out of me. And I kind of realized, I've been studying storytelling for a couple years, and I realized that the story in my head was the problem. Like I wasn't just jobless, I was stuck in my old way of thinking. And there's a reason for it, which we'll get into, but I failed out of computer science in college, and that left a lasting impression on me. It created deep neural pathways in my brain that, coding is for developers, and you, my friend, are not a developer. So that is the voice in my head, the story I told myself, and I think that's what we're up against. All right, so that's me at the Comcast knock. I came up at a time, I got my CCNA in 2012. That's what we told people then. Get your CCNA, get a help desk or a knock job. I was fortunate enough to land a knock role at the ISP I worked at. And the CLI was the craft. It was the certification. If I was a master of the CLI, and we were proud of it. I would have dozens of pages of Notepad C++ or Notepad++, scripts that I built that we'd copy and paste into routers. I mean, that was the job. That was my identity. And I was a proud CLI lifer or trad net ops. If you were to ask me what my thoughts were around network automation at that time, actually up until about 14 months ago, I'd give you the full Michael Scott meltdown. And I did publicly. Very bad for your career, by the way. Don't do that. So again, my computer science failure left a deep scar. That failure created a story that coding is for developers. You can't do it. You're not smart enough. And I carried that belief with me for decades. So again, my friend Mike taught me something about cognitive biases, which really opened my mind up to, I guess, how our brains work and why we struggle with certain things. So these guys, Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky in the 70s did some research, and basically they found that we have these mental shortcuts that we take that keep us safe. They worked very well in the wild. But those mental shortcuts called cognitive biases can also blind us to things. Think about, as an example, you do something for work, you get 10 compliments and 1 criticism. Which one do you think is weighted heavier in your brain? Our brains weight negative experiences, I think, 10 to 1 order of magnitude. And that's a survival instinct. Again, it's there for a reason. If you're out in the wild and you're always looking for danger, you usually live longer. So that's how our brains work. And I wasn't avoiding Python. I was avoiding that pain, that threat. My brain said, coding bad, avoid bad, no coding for you. I hate ums. Cut all the ums out, Scott, would you? Righty that. Do we edit this? All right, so let's see. All right, so my brain said, you're not cut out for this, don't risk it, this isn't for you. Here comes life at me. Then I got laid off. I was not expecting to be looking for work, but I was. And the scary part was all the networking jobs that I looked at, including at vendors, required network automation as a prerequisite. I'm like, oh no. My mindset was the cause of my problem. I believed I couldn't, so I didn't. And it took about a year and that moment in the car to realize, like, oh, I'm the problem. Okay, I have to look at this differently. So to stay into networking, I had to rethink my entire way of thinking. So I started small. I built a home lab with Linux, Python, VS Code, learned GitHub, all the things you people tell me to do. And I started this, Dwan Lightfoot, shout out to him. He has this network engineering Python class that I started to take. And with this simple script that used the NetMiko library to SSH into a router, Python logged into a router for me, ran a show version, and showed me the output. Now I know to this room, that's probably a joke. Like, really, you got excited about that? That moment changed everything for me. I mean, fireworks, literally. So I recorded myself doing this. I posted it on TikTok. A bunch of people were like, oh my God, this is great. Like, a lot of other CLI lifers are like, hey, wow, okay, huh. The guy who's been yelling for years on his podcast and publicly not to do it, what's going on with him? He's doing it now. But it was truly, it broke me open. I'm like, oh, I was wrong. Like, this isn't impossible. This isn't me failing out of computer science. We're network engineers. We do hard things. We figure things out. Like, okay, this is just a different skill set I have to learn. So 20 years of fear evaporated. My story changed. And shortly thereafter, I landed a dream job at Nokia doing what I'm doing now, which is just, I'm loving what I'm doing. So where are we here? All right. I started learning in public. I started streaming myself, learning Python. I wouldn't recommend anyone here watch it. It's pretty cringe. I'm reading a Python textbook and recording myself and releasing that as content. What do you think, Ethan? Not going to go viral? Nah, probably not. But that's what I did. And the interesting part about that was this learning in public, being vulnerable. See, I was talking to Ethan yesterday about this. When I take a Python course, it's slick, it's fast, it goes too fast for me. And then I start to feel like a dum-dum, like, oh, maybe this isn't for me. Why am I so behind? But I am hoping that by me doing this in public, being vulnerable, and warts and all, that it can pull people along. And it has started to. I found a little community around myself, people that want to do this. We're starting a Python study group. I have 2 minutes, so I'm going to hit my mark, Scotty. I'm not going to go over. Why am I telling you all this? There's a really cool, I don't know if anybody, again, another shout out to Mike who told me this awesome story I've never seen, but is anybody from Africa or has been to Africa and has seen the Great Migration? So apparently there's I don't know if it's hundreds of thousands or millions of wildebeest, but they migrate north and then they migrate south and they're following weather and following the food. And apparently they get to this river, begins with an M, I forget the name of it, but they all get to this river and they stop because there's danger in the river. There's crocodiles in that river. And they'll stand there for days, if not weeks, waiting to cross that river, to cross that danger. But the interesting part I love is that once one goes, whether somebody kicks them, whether he trips, who knows what gets them to go. Nobody knows when they're going to go. But as soon as one goes, they all go. And I'm hoping that by sharing my story of I did not want to automate, now I do, It caused, I think that only through tremendous pain or from telling better stories. So we need to bring those trad NetOps folks across that river. We have to let them know, I know there's danger, but we are here, and look at us, and we are doing the thing. And I'm not saying I'm the first wildebeest to cross that river, because that would be very silly of me to say and think I'm that great. But if I can start to pull people along, I think we can do that. So if you're an AutoCon participant, all I would ask you to do, here's the 2 takeaways. Tell better stories. Until I told myself a different story, I could not learn this stuff, I did not learn this stuff, and I could not get a job. I changed my story, and by the way, I tell stories for a living now, and it seems to be resonating with people. So just learn storytelling. It's simple. I have a book I can recommend if you like. The other people I'm talking to, if you're a CLI lifer, do not wait for a layoff. Do not wait to be out of work. I have a guy in my Discord server right now I'm talking to. They're laying everybody off around them. I'm like, dude, learn Linux, learn Python, get into LLMs. My advice keeps changing. The rate of change in our industry is accelerating, and it's kind of unsettling. And if you're not skilling up and learning automation, if you're not doing this stuff, I don't know how you're going to compete in this market. Finally, how are we doing on time? Oh, I'm over 28 seconds. Really, if we tell better stories, and if the trad NetOps folks can just do what I did and do the work before tragedy befalls their career, then I think we can help NAF move network automation forward and drive adoption. Because I'm telling you, I'm not a smart guy, but if I can do it, you can do it too. Thank you.